China's vice finance minister visited Washington a day after the International Monetary Fund announced the Chinese yuan will be included in its basket of global reserve currencies. Zhu Guangguo hailed the historic move and talked about further financial reforms in China. And CCTV's Nathan King was there. Nathan, obviously the inclusion of the yuan is a big deal for China, both symbolically and economically. So what did the vice minister have to say?
Yeah, obviously it's a big week, and Vice Minister Zhu here in Washington ostensibly for talks as China takes over the chair of the G20 grouping. But of course, here in Washington, we got the first official face-to-face reaction from a senior Chinese official to the inclusion of the yuan in the IMF's basket of currencies. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
We know how important IMF role and how important made SDR with more representation, more attractiveness. And it's not just the Chinese interest, that's IMF interest, that's global interest. We hope this decision made can benefit Chinese more open financial sector reform and make IMF SDR with more attractiveness and more representativeness. And also, I do believe this decision really reflects global consensus.
Yeah, Vice Minister Zhu speaking there at the Peterson Institute for International Economics was also at pains to stress that this move can only bolster the reform process in China and lead to more confidence globally in the Chinese currency. Also, US experts in the room, this is very interesting, played down talk here that there was somehow some sort of global competition when it comes to global currencies. Currently, Elaine, the US dollar accounts for about 65% of reserve currency holdings. Diversifying that, according to experts, won't affect the global economy, but make it actually a bit more representative.
Nathan, CCTV also spoke exclusively to the Deputy Managing Director at the IMF and former Deputy Governor of the People's Bank of China, Zhu Min. He, of course, had an inside track on this decision. So what does he think of the impact that will be made on this yuan inclusion?
Yeah, Zhu Min's really interesting because he was actually brought into the IMF to give a more Asian perspective globally. And obviously this is a big change for the IMF. He heralded it. And while he said that the yuan's inclusion isn't necessarily tied to economic reforms and developments within China and externally, he did say its inclusion in this basket of currency would, he thinks, be an impetus. Let's have a listen.
It's very important for the whole world as well, because China's second largest economy in the world, trade flow is very strong. And with the RMB including the SDR, it will facilitate and support the further expanding and deepening the global financial market with more RMB denominated products and with more RMB participating in the international payments process as well. So I think it's very good for the whole world as well, not even mentioning it's good for the global economic financial governance reform. Now, it's also very important for China because this decision brings Chinese RMB into the center stage of the global financials. I think that's very important. And also, with this status and members of the IMF will use more RMB as a settlements, instruments, or payments, or whatever they want to hold assets or all those things.
So Nathan, what other recognition can we expect for the yuan going forward?
Yeah, Zhu Min hinted at it there, didn't he? You know, being in this SDR, this basket of international currencies, isn't necessarily proof that the Chinese currency will be used more, but it's a confidence thing. And what are financial markets about? They are about confidence. So generally what happens is that the RMB will probably be held by more sovereign wealth funds, for example, to begin with, to invest with. And then there's, of course, as well as a reform track in China financially, there is a bit of a competition about who's going to be the global center outside of China for trading in the yuan, the RMB. There's obviously outposts in Hong Kong, but we're talking about Singapore, we're talking about possibly London, we're talking about New York as well. So there is a bit of a competition now that the RMB is in place as a global reserve currency to move forward to make the RMB a fully tradable currency on the open markets and also something that can be used as a settlement currency. What does that mean? That means Chinese businesses will find it much easier to get bonds, to issue bonds on the international markets, for example, and also for US companies to deal with their Chinese counterparts in China using Chinese currency, which of course is a lot easier rather than having to convert all the time.
All right, CCTV's Nathan King in our Washington newsroom.
Thank you.